Just a quick editing note, my camera died about like halfway through filming this, so in the future you guys will expect webcams in these types of videos, but for this one it's just going to be gameplay in the background. Other than that, let's get into it. Welcome to episode 1 of Podcast. It's going to be quite literally my version of a podcast in video format for you guys to watch on YouTube, whether you guys are grinding DM Ultra, you're grinding Damascus, or just playing games and want something to listen to in the background, or just want some content to fill the void of you studying, or if you just want some background conversation to listen to while you're doing chores or something. These videos are going to be no different from my normal uploads, except they're going to be less topically focused. And what I mean by that is all of my normal uploads focus on one topic per video, but these podcast episodes, which are honestly, I'm just going to call these podcasts. Like, it's just, that's going to be the title of them. Unless you guys can think of a different podcast type title. And to start off, I'm going to treat these just like longer videos where I don't really have topics for them. I might be talking about Warzone or Call of Duty or something going on in gaming, or just non-topical things in general, just so I can share my mind. This will be like a platform for me to talk about other things that I don't really get to talk too much about in videos as well. So if you guys have a title that you guys want to title this, let me know in the comment section down below. I plan to do these once every week or once every 2 weeks. I still want to focus on making my daily videos, and I don't want these to take over too much of what I do on YouTube. But let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Just to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, for the most part, it's just going to be me on these episodes, but I definitely want to get some friends in here. I want to get some members from the Discord in here, and I want to figure out some way to incorporate channel members and Discord tier boosters to the Discord server. And I want to figure out a way to incorporate a different segment in these podcast episodes where those who support the channel and go that extra step to support it get a voice and get some interaction where they can see themselves in these episodes, or something to make those things worth it. I might also get the boys in here to co-host every once in a while, that being Special Service, Botanic Josh, and maybe some of the other mods that you guys see in the Discord if you are in there. And yeah, let's get started on episode 1. Today I just want to do mainly an introduction to what you guys can expect for this, and I want all your feedback in the comments down below. What do you guys think would work for this? What do you guys think wouldn't work? And then at the end of the episode, if you guys watch all the way through, let me know what you guys thought, what you guys would improve on, and kind of do like 3 things that you guys liked and 3 things that you guys didn't like. I know it's a thing that like a lot of kids do in elementary school and junior high, and sometimes even through high school, but I genuinely think feedback like that is actually going to be really good for something like that. So if you give 3 things that you guys would want to see within videos like this, and 3 things you wouldn't want to see, I think the constructive criticism could build this into a pretty interesting series. And as I said before, this is going to be perfect if you guys want something to listen to on your second monitor while you're playing games or grinding camos, or just playing zombies and going to high rounds, or if you just want something to listen to in the background. That's the whole goal of these. I know a lot of you guys have actually been asking for podcast type stuff in videos before, and I've seen so many comments saying that my videos are basically like mini podcasts, so I thought I'd dip my toes in the water of trying something a little bit longer and a little bit just kind of laid back and casual. And of course, things might get ramped up in the future depending on how the first few pilot episodes go. I want to try this throughout the month of like July and August and see where it goes from there. And if it picks up and it does well, and I'll probably continue to do it. If it doesn't do too well and I don't enjoy doing it, I might not continue it. And even if they don't perform well, if I enjoy doing it, I still plan to continue to make these. And one thing I want to do at the start of every episode is kind of do like a catch up, so you guys would know what's going on, what I'm doing, and what I plan to do in the future within the upcoming weeks here. Recently, I've just been doing a lot of YouTube grinding, playing Modern Warfare actually again. I just started the other day. Since they added that new extended shipment playlist, I've actually been grinding a few guns in there. I think I only have 4 gold guns in Modern Warfare so far: the Kilo, the M4A1, the FAL, and the RPG. I just started the SCAR and about halfway done the SCAR, and I also started the R90 shotgun, and I'm almost done the R90 shotgun. I just need the no attachment kills and the 3 kills in a single life, and then I'm done that. And I don't know, I have mixed feelings on Modern Warfare. I really liked Modern Warfare before Warzone came out, and then Warzone came out and then switched up my entire feelings on Modern Warfare because Warzone just took away from Modern Warfare so much. And realistically, once Warzone dropped, the only time I actually ended up playing Modern Warfare was when new DLC guns would come out and I would get Damascus on those. But that was like the only time. I was always playing Warzone instead. So it's weird to go back and play it because it plays so much different from Cold War. And regardless of what you guys think or say on your opinion, in my perspective, Cold War plays much faster than Modern Warfare. It's much faster paced, especially in the SBMM bracket that I'm in. Everyone is running around constantly and no one's really scared to just die because everyone will just respawn anyway. But in Modern Warfare, it plays so much slower and the movement's slower and people camp more. That's just the style of the game. But I've started to notice that I liked Modern Warfare a lot more before Warzone came out. That's pretty much the moral of this story. But it sucks because Modern Warfare was such a fun game at launch and there were so many redeeming qualities of it. And then it didn't feel like it was supported fully through. Like once Warzone came out, it felt like it got no support. And like the only thing that they did was they nerfed the footsteps once when they were extremely loud at the beginning of the launch, at the beginning of the game. But even then the footsteps are just too loud for my preference, and it's just it could have been so good. And I've made videos about that recently. I just wanted to touch on that because I was thinking about grinding the gold camos and how much I would rather do the Cold War challenges. And I think it has to do with the Modern Warfare camo challenges aren't hard to do, but they are a little bit more tedious than the rest of the camo challenges, so it just is a little bit less appealing to me. I've also started to watch some Netflix again. It's been such a long time since I've watched Netflix or TV, and the reason I started watching again is because me and my girlfriend actually started watching Loki on Disney Plus together, and I really enjoy that. I'm not going to talk too much about it because there's YouTube channels like the Angry Joe Show, and there's tons of like movie and show reviewers out there if you guys want like a story in-depth and breakdown, but I really enjoy it. And if you guys are watching it too, I think it's such a nice change of pace from Marvel movies. It's more laid back and it gets in depth to Loki, and Loki is starting to become one of my favorite characters in the MCU. My favorite character is Doctor Strange. I just really like his character and his story, and just like his power to begin with. Like if I was to pick a Avenger to be based off of their powers alone, I think Doctor Strange would be the guy I pick. But I've been watching a lot of shows again, and one of those shows actually that I saw in my recommended on Netflix that I forgot was even a thing was The Walking Dead. And there's a lot of seasons now, and I don't remember where I stopped watching. I stopped watching just after the prison season. I won't go into spoilers too, because if you guys want to start watching The Walking Dead, I think it's really good to get into. But yeah, I stopped watching after the prison season, and they were moving to some weird, like they were trying to get to some new safety village town thing. I don't remember what it was called, but I've started watching it again all the way back from season 1 because I kind of wanted to like watch it from start to finish because I don't know if it's still filming or not, and I'm gonna start watching it again, and I'm having a lot of fun. I've only finished episode 1, but it made me think, and it made me remember back when I was watching The Walking Dead during like Black Ops 2 and like the quote unquote golden era of Call of Duty. Like I would always be watching The Walking Dead while playing COD, and when Black Ops 3 was a huge thing, like Black Ops 3 Zombies was a massive community and super popular. I remember on one monitor I would have like my PlayStation 4 and I would be playing some zombies on Black Ops 3, I'd be doing Easter eggs or doing like round 100 runs on various maps, and on my other monitor I would have The Walking Dead seasons playing, and it was making me think about how good Zombies was. And I don't think Black Ops 3 Zombies was as successful as it was without the Zombies community in the Z House, because I think Black Ops 3 Zombies is by far the best Zombies in Treyarch, and I just guess Call of Duty history overall. But it's a lot more than just the game that made it what it is. And it was the community, it was the Z House, it was Noah J456, Mr. Rothwaffles, Mr. Dalek JD, the streaming community that would stream Zombies every single day. And when new Easter eggs and maps were launched, the community worked together to solve the Easter eggs. And it was basically a huge event almost within the Call of Duty community. And I miss seeing stuff like that happen. And I was thinking about the Z House and all the videos that they did in person, it made me want to vlog, and not like vlog full-time YouTuber, be like an Ace Family and do like fake vlogs like Logan Paul and just do all these stupid things. I just kind of like do casual vlogs with friends and stuff like that. The only thing is, all the friends that I would have on my channel live in like different countries, just because I wouldn't have my personal friends on it, because they don't really relate too much to like the whole Z House type era. But I feel like if me, Josh, Special Service, and a couple, like basically the same people that I would have on this podcast, if I was living close to them in real life, there'd be tons of videos like that. But I don't know, I find real life content like, and I'm gonna use the term vlogs, but I don't quite literally mean vlogs as in, hey, I'm gonna vlog everything I do, but like having like a cool video to watch. Like, for example, Nadeshot posted a video like a week ago of him golfing at the California Trump golf course on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. And it's a beautiful course, and he was vlogging it. I don't know who it was with, but it was a fun video to watch. And like, if you're out doing something, I really like those like in life videos, especially if it's a content creator that you only see online, because it gives you a little bit of personality to kind of pair with that YouTuber or content creator, because you get to see how they are in a real world environment rather than just what they are like on a game. And I think it would be cool to post those videos to my channel as well. And the thing is I don't want to like just cold turkey, here's a vlog and no standard content at all for a day. So what I plan to do is I'm actually filming, like half filming a vlog right now, where I have a couple things I'm doing that I'm vlogging or like just recording on camera, and then eventually I'm gonna like just throw it all together in a video and upload it. But I don't want to just like have that as my daily upload. I want to like have like a standard video. So for example, yesterday I uploaded a video on hacking called Hacking is Fun. And so the example would be, so I would have my normal scheduled video for 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. For those who don't know, it's 1 hour later than Pacific Standard Time, and you guys can do the conversions from there. But that's when I tend to schedule my videos or try to have my videos done by, is 9 a.m. That way that video is out for the whole day and people aren't waiting till like the evening or afternoon to watch a video, and they have it when they wake up. And of course, the English times and the European times are a little bit different, but that's early to late afternoon for them, depending on what European country you live in. But I don't know, I find it really interesting. Like, I've been going back time and time again and watching the old Z House videos, whether that be like the Wonder Fizz challenge or when they do like zombie things in real life, like the mystery box challenge. And Lex has that famous moment where he's walking around in like a bathrobe and slippers with the sign that says free blowjobs. And there's so much interesting videos that they've put out, and there's all these challenges that they've done together, and I just find that content really satisfying, especially when it's a genuine group of people together. Like, another example is the New York FaZe House. I'm gonna make a video on FaZe, actually. I'm thinking about it now, and I want to talk about the downfall of FaZe, so I'm not gonna get too much into it here, but I miss the days of the New York FaZe House when Tico, Rain, and all those guys would make videos together and just have fun. And it was like, you could tell it was a passion project. Like, they weren't doing it because they wanted to be multi-millionaires. It was just all fun and games back then, and they were just a couple of guys that lived together and they had fun. And that's honestly where the best content comes from. I think it was the house that they moved into after the New York house was where the downfall of FaZe started. At least the FaZe house started in that Calabasas house. But even then, that next house that they moved into, they've played like hide and seek in it. Someone remade it in like Black Ops 3, I think. If you guys have watched the FaZe Clan, you guys know the house that I'm talking about. But if you haven't, then it's just the second house that FaZe Clan moved into. It was the first house in LA. So they went from this kind of like just like a normal family house in New York, and then they moved to California together. And I don't know if it's a city or town called Calabasas. I don't know how that whole area works. As a Canadian, whenever I hear about that stuff, it sounds like it's just like a bunch of cities and towns all super close to each other. Like, I know Anaheim and Los Angeles because I've been to Anaheim and Los Angeles before to like go to Disneyland and stuff like that. And I know that there's like it's like an hour drive from LA to Anaheim, or like not even, but it seems like it from the airport at least, just because you go through everything and there's a lot like of just, it's basically buildings the entire, like it seems like one huge city there, like Calabasas, Hollywood, Los Angeles. Like, it's just, it looks, it, at least to me, it seems like all one thing. But regardless, they moved to Calabasas and their first house, and they did a lot of the same stuff that they did in the New York house, except it was in a nicer location, and they were able to go like jet skiing on the ocean and do all these cool videos and do hide and seek in a huge mansion instead of a tiny little New York house. And I like the content that creators make when it's passion based rather than just like, hey, let's try to get as much views as possible. And I think a lot of you guys that are like in tune with my videos know that every topic I talk about in every single video I'm very passionate about to some extent. Some of them are more like, hey, check this shit out, this is kind of stupid, but a lot of them are like when I talk about the changes to the futures of Call of Duty and remastering games and cheating and boosting and camo grinding and trying to just talk about like Call of Duty in general, you guys know that I'm very passionate about that, and I have strong opinions about it. That's just where the passion comes from, and I really enjoy the videos. And I've noticed it a little bit recently, and it's not to the point where it's like, hey, this is like me being bad, but there's some times where I'm sitting there and I think, wow, I focus too much on the numbers and how well a video performs rather than having fun making the video. And a huge example of me trying to make a video that's extremely fun was the How Well Do You Know Call of Duty maps. And it was me, Botanic Josh, and Special Service, and we created this new channel series, which I actually haven't uploaded in 2 weeks. I'll probably upload an episode this weekend. But it was all of us. And so Josh's goal was to get a bunch of mini map screenshots, or like, I guess like the map layouts of maps. So you'd have like a map like Rust and the map layout and the mini map of Rust, and he would post that screenshot, and me and Special Service had to guess which game it was from and what map it was without having any like hints, or like we literally just had the map layout to go off of, and that's all we had to guess what map it was. And doing that video, I knew it wasn't going to perform well, but I had so much fun making that video and uploading it. And I want to do more videos like that. So I've also have started to do a lot of face cam commentary videos where I can be more personal with the audience. And I've really enjoyed doing that because you guys get to see me not only in person in those videos, but the videos feel more personal themselves, and I get to, it feels, it's weird, right? Because when you don't see a face in a commentary video, you don't think anything of it. But the second you've watched someone for so long and then all of a sudden you see their face, it almost feels like this like not like a personal connection, but the videos feel more personal. A huge example that I know of is like Vanoss way back, like I'm talking like 2012, 2013 Vanoss, when you never saw his face, and then all of a sudden I don't remember where his face was, but his face was in a video and he did like a face reveal or something, and it was like, wow, that's the guy that we've been watching for like a year and a half or like years playing this game. And another one, if you guys, it's kind of like the off-brand Vanoss crew. It's like Suda, the Moan Boys is what they're called now, but in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, it was like I'm Suda, Wretched, Crispy Concords, all of those guys were like, they basically did the Vanoss crew stuff in Call of Duty and GTA 5 around the time when the Vanoss crew went and they were doing like weird niche variety games that nobody would ever play, but they would play them and stuff like that, and they'd still do their Call of Duty stuff. But it's kind of when they moved away from Call of Duty and more to like the variety type games. This is where like Suda and those guys were, and Suda has like 1 million+ subs on YouTube, so some of you might know him. And there was always like these videos he would post where he'd get like a bunch of people to say like that this is a face reveal and I'm Suda, but it was like 40 different people saying I'm Suda, and then all of a sudden he actually like made a proper face reveal and was like, hey, the old face reveals were obviously pranks and stuff like that, but my face were in those videos, and you could have seen my face in some other people's videos at the COD 4 reveal or stuff like that. And it's just, it feels very, I don't know, it's just a personal connection. It makes the content more enjoyable almost, because it's like you're seeing that person at face value, and either like or dislike them more because you can see their face, but there's just that stronger connection as a viewer to the content creator. So I'm definitely going to do more of that stuff and just more videos in general that I really enjoy making and have fun with. I really like doing the COD commentaries, don't get me wrong, but I also do want to spice it up. I really like, my favorite videos are like guide videos, and I'm super excited that Mauer Toten's coming out on the 15th because I can do my complete Mauer Toten guide and then do my DM, or I guess Dark Ether camo guide for Mauer Toten, and the best places to work on camo challenges there. So I'm excited that's coming out, and of course we have the new SMG coming out as well, so I can do a video on that. I just love doing the guide videos. The only thing is once I get those mastery camos, there's not much there's like nothing to do after, because what are you going to do, make the exact same guide twice, right? So I'm excited. I'm also excited for the next Call of Duty because it's going to once again increase that grind factor, and there's going to be lots of new stuff to talk about. And yeah, I want to do more challenge videos with the boys. I have some Discord game night stuff where I'm going to start doing game nights with viewers more often and do some recording sessions there. If you guys want to get updates and for all that stuff, Discord's the best place to do that. I know it's kind of like a shout out type thing, and I don't like shouting out social medias just because it seems very like scummy and it takes away from the content. But for those that are interested and want to take part in when we do stuff and recording and we play with viewers and stuff like that, Discord, not Discourse, the Discord, link in the description is the place to do that. That's the only time I'll ever do that this episode. But yeah, it's just, also just thinking about these videos in general, it's so nice to just sit down and talk and share my opinions on other things with you guys, and then you guys can kind of get to know me on a better scale, and it's just a nice change of pace. And I honestly, like, I think of the podcasts that I watched or used to watch, and big ones that I used to watch the H3 podcast when it first came out, and I just haven't really been on, like, I haven't been in tune with that side of YouTube recently. Like, there's some episodes of the H3 podcast where I think, hey, that's a really interesting episode, I want to watch that. But like, I didn't like the Frenemy series that they did, and I just, that whole side of YouTube, like the H3 Keemstar, Logan Paul, like that more stereotypical popular side of YouTube, I haven't been in touch with and haven't watched recently. But that's a side of the YouTube podcast type thing that I've wanted to, or like that I have watched before, and they have their setup so professionally. And then I know Charlie or Moist Critical or Penguin Zero, regardless of how you know him by, he has his Jack podcast with his friends that's kind of like this, and they just sit and talk, and that's their podcast type thing. I don't know exactly what style I want to go for. For now, I'm going to keep it COD commentary style, where there's going to be COD gameplay in the background. So if you guys actually want to sit down and throw this on your second monitor, if you're just like editing in Photoshop or doing school, you have some visuals to go with it to watch, rather than just it being like a template screen with the voices and stuff like that. But I also, like, on it, obviously I think it goes to without saying that I don't have enough money to rent or buy an office space and do a full-on podcast studio for this, especially knowing that this is the first like pilot episode to see if it does like good. I mean, realistically, if this took off and this is like the most viewed podcast, like gaming podcast, or like it picked up where these podcast episodes made a decent amount of money, I would totally consider doing a podcast studio. But that's like once I have like 200,000 plus subscribers on YouTube and I'm making way more than I am now, because I think right now on YouTube I'm making just over what someone minimum wage would be working at like a normal job, or like a I guess like a minimum wage job. So that won't happen anytime soon, but it's cool to think about that as well. But yeah, for now, COD commentary style podcasts, of course, webcams and all that stuff, good stuff. You guys can see me. I can't see you, but yeah. If I ever have guests on too, I'll try to figure out a way to incorporate their webcam into the episodes, or if they don't have one, just have mine on as standard. And we'll see how it goes. Like, as I said earlier, the feedback that you guys give me will go towards developing this for a better more solidified format for this type of video, and for now I'm serious. Like, I'm just calling this, like, this is going to be the podcast. It's just gonna be called podcast. I'm pretty sure people already have a podcast named Podcast. I'm too lazy to think of a name, and I'm not creative enough to think of like a podcast name. Like, when I was I was literally having shower thoughts, and I was showering before recording this, and I was thinking, what would I name a series, like a podcast type series on my channel? And I was like, oh, I could call it the Wildcast, or the Tech Cast, or the Technically Wildcast. And it just sounded so generic, and I didn't like a single one of them. And if you guys don't know, the Discord server that I have is called the Clubhouse, and I was like, oh, I could call it the Clubhouse Podcast or the Clubcast. But even then, that still sounds so generic, so I couldn't think of a name. And it's like the H3H3 podcast makes sense because H3H3 is their brand, and they got into podcasts early, and they didn't have to like compete with everyone. And now it's hard to find a good podcast name, because I'm not a well-established name where if I was like, yo, this is the Technically Wild podcast, everyone would be like, oh yeah, we know Technically Wild's podcast. It's like, it would be like Joe Rogan. Like, Joe Rogan is the host of his own show, and his podcast is the most popular podcast in the world. So it's kind of like easy for them to have a title, but for me, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna call it podcast. It's the podcast. That's all it is. It's such a niche, like my channel on YouTube is such a niche channel, and is like a fly on the wall compared to like even like the bigger channels in Call of Duty, like To Prestige is Key, Exclusive Ace, E. coli Espresso, FaZe Jev. I'm a fly on the wall, dude. And even then, I was thinking about it too, like FaZe Jet, like when I was talking about FaZe and the downfall of FaZe, the only FaZe members that I still currently enjoy is FaZe Jev. FaZe Jev is the only one that has been consistent throughout the years. I think for me, I won't go into detail because I want to do a full video on this too, but a lot of the downfall for me happened when FaZe kind of strayed away from their roots of COD, and like, no, there's no issue with changing their roots, but they changed their roots so much and they started to focus on Fortnite, and now the literal biggest FaZe members are Fortnite members, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a different audience than it used to be, and it's very different. And of course, there's been the drama and stuff that I want to touch on in that video as well. One thing I also forgot to talk about when you guys were going to give 3 things you guys want to see in the podcast, and then 3 things you don't want to see or don't want to happen. I forgot to mention, what would you guys like to see in like future episodes, and just like what topics and subject matter you guys would want to talk about. I will, like, I'm of course going to talk about Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Cold War, Warzone, World War II, Vanguard, Black Ops 5, like all that stuff is going to be obvious and will obviously be brought up here. But I also will talk about other things too. Like, I don't want this just to be like a, hey, this is an exact video that I would make. It's just going to be longer and a little bit more in depth. I want to talk about stuff that's a little bit more niche and stuff that you guys might not think to hear about. And if I don't know if you guys watch, I was going to call it the Noel Miller podcast, but it's a TMG podcast. They talk about everything there. And that's kind of like the same idea that I was having with this platform. I know they talk about Lewis Hamilton a lot on TMG's podcast because they know who he is and all that type of stuff. But I was like, I actually want to talk about a little bit, like, I know there's F1 podcasts too, but I've been getting into F1 for the past couple, like I would say 3 years. I've been getting into F1. Whatever the season, I think it was like the 2017 season, just before the Netflix series Drive to Survive came out. Like, I literally got into F1 a year before all the Netflix people got brought into it. So I'm still pretty new, like a still pretty new fan to the sport, but I want to talk about my thoughts and opinions on that, kind of like my hobbies. And I honestly wouldn't mind, like, of course, walking a tightrope with this topic, but I wouldn't mind talking about politics to a certain extent, as long as it's not like super crazy, like radical politics and like huge, I guess subjects that are like a little bit more touchy and a little bit more risky to talk about. I would kind of refrain from talking about those in depth, just because, of course, I'm not a political analyst. I know so little on those subject matters as well, because I only know what I know as a Canadian and as a university student, and I don't follow politics that much. So I could talk about the basics, like Joe Biden being elected, but that's pretty much that. I also don't want to do what H3H3 did, and like for almost like a couple months back in 2020 and 2019, his podcast for a while was just talking all politics. I don't want that to happen. I want to talk about just everything in general. I mean, it's so hard to think about what I want to talk about because there's when I think about what I want to talk about subject matter wise, there's so much that comes to my mind. And of course, the first thing is Call of Duty because that's what I'm used to talking about on YouTube, but there's just so much out there. So let me know what you guys would want to see in the comment section. I also want to make these podcast episodes more interactive, and I want the comment sections to mean something, and I want to involve the comment section more in every episode in some form or fashion, as well as bring in and incorporate those members on the channel and Discord server boosters who support the channel and the Discord more than the average Joe. Anyway, that's going to be the pilot episode. Let me know honest thoughts and opinions on this in the comment section. I know it was a little bit rambly and I tend to get off topic when I don't have set topics to talk about, so I might just do like, I guess, jot notes down or like spark notes my topic ideas for an episode of the podcast and try to have it more formatted and more formal, but also have it fun and exciting and just more interactive as well. So I gotta find that balance, and the more I and the more I do this, the better it'll get overall. And yeah, I'll try not to have dead air, and of course with more guests coming on the show. I plan to have guests in the first place, but when I do have guests on the show, I hope to have the flow down of holding a conversation, because I mean, sitting there by myself and just talking for a while, I kind of sit there and I'm like, well, what do I talk about next? And then my brain starts to wander and I get off topic very fast. But anyway, comment section down below, let me know what you guys think and what you guys want to expect, the 3 wants and the 3 don't wants. Leave a like if you guys did enjoy, dislike if you didn't. I honestly think I'll have a normal daily upload today as well, probably a couple hours after this episode goes live at 9 a.m. So yeah, leave a like if you guys did enjoy, dislike if you didn't. There's no hard feelings. I'm about to head out, subscribe for more videos in the future and more podcasts in the future. And if there is one, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.